Bob, the opening of the Missouri Valley schedule. Let's start with the week off. How do you think it went for your team?
Well, we got some things accomplished. We set out to try to make sure that we could generate a lot of repetitions during the week for some of our younger players where we're trying to build depth. At the same start, get a jump start on preparation for Western Illinois, and I think we accomplished both those goals.
In terms of getting guys healthy, did you make any strides in that regard?
Well, a couple guys, Andrew, or Alex Gray, rather, twin brother of Andrew, who has missed the last two games, is back practicing, and Brant Van Rokel and Jake Lair both practiced yesterday for the first time in a couple of weeks. Their status still a little bit up in the air for Saturday, but there's a chance that they both could be back.
So you've got two teams that are 3-0, two teams playing very good football, a lot of momentum for both of these teams. But you guys, with the exception of the one home game, you've been on the road twice. Western Illinois has been on the road the entire year so far. I mean, this is unusual to have them playing their first home game, and you guys have only had one home game under your belt at this stage.
Yeah, neither of us have had very favorable schedules, and at the same time, in their case, they've played very, very well over the first 3 weeks at some difficult places on the road, and certainly, we had a good road win at Bowling Green, and so you're going to be talking about two teams that after the game on Saturday, it'll be 5 weeks into the season, and both have only played one home game.
The one thing that stands out, especially being on the road, is for them to average 44 points a game in 3 starts. I mean, they're getting a lot of good things done offensively, fourth in the SCS in time of possession. So they're taking care of the football. We'll talk about turnovers here in a little bit. But offensively, they've been very impressive over the first 3 weeks.
And that all starts with their ability to run the football. They've got a very experienced offensive line with 5 guys returning that have played a lot of football, including 4 redshirt seniors, and experience at quarterback, experience at running backs. So they're a team that is going to try to control the line of scrimmage, throw when they want to throw, and when they do that, they've been very efficient. Let's
talk about Sean McGuire a little bit. This is a guy that you saw as a freshman as the head coach at Western Illinois. How has he evolved since you had him?
Well, he's a really good quarterback. He's a leader on the field. You can see that in the way that he plays, and certainly having had the opportunity to coach him, we know what kind of young man he is, and the types of things that he does well, and he's a very accurate passer, and kind of guy that you're going to have to try to find ways to make uncomfortable in the pocket, or he's going to put the ball into good spots.
You mentioned that accuracy, Bob, 72%, which tells a couple of things about things that you touched on. It means he's getting great protection, and also it means he has a running game to keep defenses honest as well, and it means he's throwing high percentage passes.
Yeah, a lot of what they do in their offense is play action type pass, and when you can run the ball effectively, it causes you to have to do things that to create opportunities for you to throw the football, and their offense has been very balanced in that regard and been able to create some big plays through the air.
Running the ball, Max Norris has been their go-to guy. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. What do you see about his running style?
Well, he's they have a nice combination there. Max Norris, a bigger, more physical back, and then Steve McShane, who was one of the top backs in the league, who's back now and played quite a bit last week, is one of those guys that can make you miss at the point of attack. And so the two of them together is a combination, I think, very similar to what we saw a couple weeks ago against North Dakota with Santiago and Oliveira.
Mm-hmm. And then when they go up top, Jalen Ackland seems to be catching a lot of the passes, 14 catches in 3 games, couple of touchdowns, and even McGuire caught a pass for a touchdown as well.
Yeah, they're very diverse. Their perimeter players are good, and they don't have a lot of weaknesses, which you would expect for a team that's played as well as they have over the first 3 weeks.
Is it pretty much what you saw from them last year? I mean, I know Norris didn't necessarily lead them last year against you guys, but is it pretty much you're looking at last year's tape saying we're going to see the same thing again this Saturday?
Well, they're doing a lot of the same kinds of things offensively. I think for the most part they're just a year better at it. Second year in an offensive system with guys, the core group of guys in that offense that played the year before, and so they're executing very well and got really good people everywhere to do it.
Let's talk about taking care of the football. It's no mistake that you guys are a top 10 team now. They are a number 16 team. You're both undefeated. And it's also no surprise you're both in the top 5 in turnover margin in the nation.
Yeah, both teams have done a good job of taking care of the football and forcing turnovers on the other side. And obviously that'll be a key thing on Saturday. If you generate points by generating turnovers and field position, and those are things that we've done a good job with. We have to continue to do a good job with.
And when you see a team pick off 7 passes in 3 games, obviously they are doing an effective job in the secondary.
Yeah, they've got experience there as well. I think they're starting 3 or 4 seniors in the secondary, and they're a team that's been able to put pressure on quarterbacks and make quarterbacks uncomfortable when they've had to throw, and certainly as we have, they've been able to get out to early leads in games and put people in positions where they have to throw and then capitalize on that.
And you mentioned pressure on the quarterback, Kalen Sanders. Here's a guy that's 6'2", 310 and already has 3.5 sacks, and that's a tough guy to block.
Yeah, he's a very dynamic player inside. Guy that's very strong and active, and a guy that you have to account for both as a pass rusher and when you're trying to run the football.
And then another guy you coach that you know his leadership ability on the defensive side is Brett Taylor, and you saw a lot of him last year with 15 tackles against you.
Yeah, one of the best linebackers in the league without question, probably one of the best linebackers in all of FCS football, and a guy that plays from sideline to sideline, plays hard every play, and a guy that you got to make sure that you block.
So, Bob, now with the beginning of the conference schedule, does the message to the team change, or is it the same as what's gotten you here for the first 3 games?
Well, our guys understand that there is a difference with regard to when you open Missouri Valley Conference schedule, and even though the message is the same about we've got to keep improving as a football team, we understand that when you go into the conference, the level of competition increases, and so our team fully understands that this will be the best team that we've played to date. And it's going to require us to execute at a really, really high level.